Carrie asked, what kind of problems pop up when you hire preschool teachers? When I started my preschool, I only had myself. I was the one-woman show, preschool teacher, owner, and director. I wore all the hats. However, as we started growing, I couldn't grow unless I hired teachers. And the thing that made me want to grow the most and hire that very first teacher was I was pregnant with my fourth child, Miss Sarah. I wanted to make sure that I could stay home with her and not have to, hold her in my arms during preschool time, as well as teach for 5 hours a day, because I was doing a full-time class as a full-time schedule with preschool, which means basically 4 classes. So I was teaching in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 11:30, in the afternoon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 to 2:30, and then Tuesday, Thursday, 9 to 11:30, and then Tuesday, Thursday, 12 to 2:30. That's what we call a full schedule. Even though you're only teaching 5 hours a day, we still call it a full schedule because there's pretty much not any other classes that you can add to your schedule. And so when I wanted to, be able to spend time with her, because I literally had her in July and our preschool was starting in August, I knew that I had to hire a preschool teacher. So are there things that can pop up? Absolutely. Let me go through a couple of the most common ones that you'll find to help you as you're recruiting your preschool teachers as well. Now, my very first suggestion is that instead of trying to go into defensive mode and trying to navigate all the issues with preschool teachers, my suggestion to you is to first find the very best preschool teachers that you can for your program, because when you do that, then you'll have very little issues with your preschool teachers. So let's start on that for a minute. When you're finding your preschool teachers, some of the very best preschool teachers that I've found are either elementary school teachers, or Head Start teachers, or teachers who work in a daycare but are tired of being in a daycare setting and really just want to do what they do best, which is to teach. These are women who usually are frustrated with their current situation. As elementary school teachers, they wanted to teach children, but then they have these huge long days. They're away from their children. And so when they're able to come into just a 2.5-hour preschool class setting, they love it. They have amazing kiddos. They're able to teach small class sizes, and those are wonderful teachers to be into your preschool program. You also have the preschool teachers who are currently working in a daycare setting, and they went to school for early childhood education and they are super excited to teach preschool, but there just weren't any preschool programs around. So what do? They got stuck into a daycare. And what's crazy is probably a lot of you are experiencing similar things like this, like, well, I actually want to start a preschool because I am an elementary school teacher, or I did teach in a daycare, or I was a Head Start teacher, right? Like, you guys are probably thinking similar things too. So here's the thing. If you can imagine that I was saying those are going to make amazing preschool teachers, what does that say to you? That means that I think you also will be an amazing preschool teacher, because I've had the experience of working with those 3 categories of women, and they've just blown me away with their amazing skills and experience and just, willingness to learn and make a great preschool experience for their class. So back to it. So for the ones who are in the daycare category that got stuck into that daycare setting, they're so frustrated. They went to school for early childhood education to teach, right? And now they're taking care of babies and diapers, or they're doing after school tutoring for 8-year-olds, right? And they're just kind of frustrated. They're done with the drama, and they are looking for an environment where they can just teach honestly and be in a no drama environment. So those are the people who will also come who you can attract to your preschool program as a preschool teacher. And then finally, we have our other teachers, our Head Start teachers. Now, these teachers are phenomenal. They've gone to school for early childhood education and they're ready to teach. They found a spot in a Head Start area, but Head Start still has long hours and usually really difficult classes. They have students with a lot of difficult behaviors that they have to deal with, and usually they're dealing with aides and assistants and workers that are coming in and out, and probably a lot of times they're merging classes. So those teachers are pretty fed up with all that drama as well. So to offer them just a 2.5-hour preschool class where you've got great families and small class sizes and no drama, those teachers are also excited to come to you. So very first and foremost, creating the environment that will attract your prime teachers is a great thing to do, to be able to attract those teachers that are going to be the best for your preschool, that are going to honestly cause the least amount of problems and concerns, because you're giving them an environment where they want to be, that they've been desiring for this whole time and they've never been able to find in the elementary school or the daycare or the Head Start classroom, and yet here they found it in your preschool. So not only are you going to create a wonderful environment for them with your preschool program, but then as you bring them in, you're also going to educate them and show them how you do things at your preschool. So you get the very best, and then you train them on your policies. Now, here's the thing though. Some of our preschool owners think, you know what, if I'm going to hire a preschool teacher, they're going to do it my way, because my way is best, and that way I can control everything and I know exactly what the outcome is going to be. And I would caution you on that. And here's why. When you get the very best preschool teachers, what do you think you're expecting them to do? I would hope that you're expecting them to do what they love doing best, which is teaching. And it's teaching without handcuffs on them, without their hands tied, without the restrictions of following a set curriculum or set activities or a set schedule that they have to do every single day. Now, I'm not saying there's no, restrictions or things like that, but the way that I run my preschool is that when I hire a teacher, I give her what's expected. I show her how we do things generally in our school, right? Our general culture, our philosophies, how we teach. And of course, I only hire people who have the same general philosophies of teaching as I do, so that way we all mesh well together. But then I say, hey, we have a 2.5-hour schedule, and based on what you want to do in that schedule is up to you. And so we have our 2.5-hour block. Here's your one little section of when you can go to recess time based on all the other classes that are going on. But other than that, you're welcome to set your schedule the way that works best for your kiddos and your class and your teaching style. So if you want to start with circle time, start with circle time. If you want to start with centers, start with centers. If you want to start at table time, do that. I just give the general categories and let them choose where they want to plug them into the schedule. So the general categories would be things like opening circle, table time, centers, snack time, recess, and closing circle, with a little bit of reading time in there as well. But based on how they want to do it is how they will run their schedule and what also works best with their students. When you allow them to create their own schedule and also create their curriculum, it brings back the joy into their life of why they got started teaching in the first place. And that's when you see teachers really blossom and come to life, and you're not dealing with those, negative issues all the time because they found a haven at your preschool. Now, when you're talking about curriculum, here's what I talk about. My kind of a little bit of requirements with curriculum is we already know that they follow the same philosophy. So I don't need to specify, oh, you have to do this curriculum and this and this and this. In our school, we followed creative curriculum, high scope, handwriting without tears. We followed a lot of different curriculums and philosophies, but as long as they generally fit into those areas of children learn best through play, I was good, okay? And we also want to have a balance between teacher-directed and child-initiated activities because we're still preparing them for kindergarten, right? So as long as we had the same general philosophies, I was okay with whatever they wanted to teach, what themes, what activities, what sensory, what songs, what books. It's up to the teacher because that's where the joy of teaching comes from, in creation. And let her have fun with it. Now, as far as helping the children get from point A to point Z with development, that's a little bit of a different story. I created our own assessments after going through multiple years of being so frustrated. Like, how do I assess these students? I'm only with them for 2.5 hours every day, and sometimes only 2 days a week or 3 days a week. And sometimes they don't even come to every class, right? So here I've got in October where maybe I have 8 opportunities to assess one student. And then I'm midway and I'm saying they've only been to school 3 times because they were on vacation and then they were sick. And how can I get the assessment done in a 3-day type of window for 2.5 hours, and I still have my other students that I have to work with as well. So I created my own assessment toolkit, and it's called the Complete Preschool Assessment Toolkit to help with that process, because I needed to know where the students were at, And generally in one school year, with them coming 2.5 hours, 2 days or 3 days a week, where I could get them to the end of the school year from A to Z. If you've heard me mention in this video any of our products like our 30-day challenge or our complete preschool assessment toolkit, or even our advanced profit strategies, or even any of our systems like the success system or the teaching system or the hiring system or anything, right? Any of our systems, guess what? I have exciting news for you, because you can get all of those for free as a Preschool All-Stars member. That's right, you've heard me talking about this before. As a member, you get access to our systems, done-for-you files, and step-by-step video trainings, so that you can fast track your success to getting your preschool going. I've got every system you need from the moment you think about starting your preschool all the way to hiring teachers, to streamlining your tasks, to becoming a better preschool teacher, to making more money in your preschool, to filling your preschool classes, to hiring your teachers and your directors, to even creating a private kindergarten, and finally one day selling your preschool. I have it all from A to Z, and I can't wait to share it all with you. You're going to get exclusive free access to that inside of Preschool All-Stars. You'll also get access to me and hundreds of my preschool owners as we support you and cheerlead you on your journey. So if you'd like to be in this exclusive membership community, I invite you to join us. Click the link in the description or go to preschoolallstars.com. I can't wait to support you on this journey. Let's go. So it really came down to development, is really what it came down to. I'm not going to tell a preschool parent that when they come into my preschool, hey, guess what? I know your kid's 4, so by the time they leave my preschool, they'll know every single letter, they'll know every single sound, they'll be able to count to 20, they'll be so ready for kindergarten. I had better not tell them that, because first off, I don't know where they're at. Second off, I'm only with them for 2.5 hours every couple of days, and they're with the parents the majority of the time, and I don't do flashcards or worksheets. And so, in order to just dive this information into them, that would be really difficult, right? And I don't ever promise things like that. What I do promise parents is I will get them from one step to the next based on one school year. And I created something called the Developmental Continuum Rubric, which basically has 4 categories of development. You've got your emerging, sparked, developing, and mastering. I didn't say mastered, I said mastering. And so it really tells a parent that if your student starts here with sparked, in one school year, I can confidently get your student to developing. If your student starts at developing in the beginning of the school year, I can confidently get them to mastering. After spending 10 years with these preschoolers, over 1,000 students have gone through our preschool program, and having created this complete preschool assessment toolkit, I can confidently say that I know that any student who comes in, if they hit one of those ESDMs, I know without a shadow of a doubt, we can get them to the next level, which brings confidence in my teachers, as well as confidence in me that I can let my teachers go with it and run with it. They know all the different, skills that the kids are supposed to be learning: emotional, social, physical, cognitive, language, everything. They know all those skills because they're literally broken down in my assessment toolkit. So when they do assessments at the beginning of the year, they say, okay, this is where Johnny is. And based on all the activities we're going to be doing during the school year, we're going to help him to get to this point. And they can see as a class where they're at. So it's really helpful to be able to just let your teachers go with it. I've had other preschool owners kind of micromanage their teachers and give them the exact curriculum and cut out all their activities for them and cut out all the papers and literally just hand feed everything to their teachers. And what I've suggested to them is, maybe let's not do that, because you're paying them a lot of money. So when you pay preschool teachers, it's significant. And they also are getting that amount of money because of their experience and their education and their willingness to teach the curriculum as well. If you just hand them stuff and say, go teach that, it takes all the fun out of it. And I think that's sometimes where some of those problems can pop up. So that's how I let my teachers just kind of go through the school year. And therefore, how they get the child to that point is up to them. And I'm happy as long as they get them there to the end. So they know that they have all the ability to be able to create their own themes and activities and sensory and all these different things, as long as they get the kiddo from A to Z. It's pretty easy. Now that you've created an amazing preschool program that will attract your best teachers, and you've given them the free reign and right to be able to do what they love, do what they do best, which is to teach instead of being handheld, right? Now, there sometimes will still come an opportunity where you'll need a little bit more instruction to help them have a good experience so that you don't have those difficulties in the preschool year with your teachers. The way I do that is I set up at the very beginning of the year, like I said, that teacher training, but I'm also very specific on policies that I'm firm on. Now, teaching, go have fun, right? Philosophies, curriculum, themes, they got it, okay? I don't need to worry about that. But there are policies and procedures in our school that they still have to follow because that's more of the school side, not the teaching curriculum side. Now, the things that I am a little bit more strict on are pick-up and drop-off procedures and how our teachers communicate with our parents that are in their preschool program. Now, the reason why is because the pick-up and drop-off procedures, number one, I have like 13 different classes running at any given time. Like, there's people coming in and out every 15 minutes. It's gotta be a well-oiled machine, otherwise it will literally implode. And I'm not even there to run it. So I require my teachers to be prompt, making sure they're on the dot, pick up, drop off. Now that's a different video. You'll definitely want to go check that one out for more information about pick up and drop off procedures. So if there's ever a preschool parent who's like just a little bit off to my preschool teachers, I always tell them, hey, just let me know and I will reach out to the preschool parent for you to figure out if there's something going on. Sometimes there usually is, and just a quick phone call to the parents will nip anything in the bud. Also, if there's ever a text that comes through, I never reply via text if it's weird or off, right? Like if it has a little bit of an undercurrent of like upsetness, no way, I'm gonna immediately give that parent a phone call. And I suggest my teachers do the exact same thing or just defer it to me and I can take care of it too. So we wanna make sure that the lines of communication stay open, that they're super positive with the parents, and if there's ever any concerns with a child, I have a different video about how to handle communication with the parents to make sure that that experience goes really well as well. So post in the comments below, if you have preschool teachers, do you let them do their own curriculum or do you kind of handhold them through the process as well? I'd love to know. And as always, please comment, like, subscribe, and share these videos so I can get more of them to you.